Go Jackets.
Welcome to another episode of Rec Talk. So I'm re-recording this video. That last video I recorded was not very good. All right, so I've worked on the lighting. I'm working with a new video editing software, so bear with me. What I want to talk about today, though, Georgia Tech has hired a new running backs coach, so we can X another coach off our list. So just to recap, we've made our most important hire. We've hired our offensive coordinator, Buster Faulkner. We've hired an offensive line coach, Jeep Wade. And now we've hired our running backs coach, Norval McKenzie from Vanderbilt. Now we've also got our quarterbacks coach, Chris Winkie, that's been on staff with us. I assume Buster Faulkner, I don't know how that will be handled. He'll either coach tight ends or maybe be work in tandem with Winkie with quarterbacks and then hire a tight ends coach. Who knows? We've also hired general manager Aaron Joe, who used to be an offensive line, played under Paul Johnson. I think that's a really good hire. And AJ Artis as our strength and conditionings coach. So, interesting in how we got here. I'm trying to remember, was it Mike Davis, I think, was our running backs coach that Jeff Collins had hired. I think it's very clear he didn't see eye to eye with Brent Key. I think the second week into Brent Key's tenure as interim coach, he was gone. He just up and left. Then we promote our offensive assistant. I'm trying to remember his name, Ely, something Hill Ely. So I don't know if he'll be retained on staff or if he's already been let go. I'm not sure. Or if he's going to be moved back to an offensive assistant role, remains to be seen. So, what do we know about Norval McKenzie? Well, he played at McEachern High School, which is not far up the road that way. So he's a Georgia kid, played at McEachern, and he is a Vanderbilt alum. So I would assume he's got some smarts. So we are hiring this guy from his alma mater for a lateral move as far as position. Now, he does have experience, and he has had Division I Power 5 success at his position. So I believe he was a graduate assistant at Vanderbilt. Then he moved to Furman. Then he was at Arkansas State. Then he went to Louisville and Vanderbilt, where we hired him from. So the nice thing, and this is what's kind of interesting as key, is developing this staff, particularly the offensive staff. McKenzie worked with, I think for a season or two, Buster Faulkner at Arkansas State, I think in the 2018 season. So they've worked together. I would think that, Buster Faulkner wanted this hire as well as Key. They had worked well together. Buster Faulkner and Buster Faulkner and Jeep Wade have also worked together. So these guys all haven't been on the same staff, but they all have kind of experience directly with one another or kind of by proxy. So that's nice. Now, McKenzie has developed some very good running backs. While he was at Louisville, he had a running back that had a 1,500-plus yard season, averaged 6+ yards a carry. And at Vanderbilt, playing in the SEC, Ray Davis, I believe, is their top running back in rushing yards. He has 1,081 yards or something like this, and he's averaging 4.5 yards a carry. So, no complaints there, and a lot to be excited about. If every 3 touches you're getting a first down on the ground, you're going to win a lot of football games doing that. Now, Vanderbilt as a team averaged 4.3 yards a carry this year, which is also really impressive. Again, and I guess the East has been down in more recent memory, but Tennessee was up this year. Georgia's always very good. Florida's rebuilding. Anyways, SEC teams generally have very good defenses. McKenzie's found a way to develop backs, get them in successful situations, and be very efficient. When you're averaging 4.5 individually and 4.3 yards a carry as a team, you're doing something right. Now, we hired him yesterday, I believe, and the minute that he gets on campus, he's hitting the recruiting trail. We've already offered, I think, 2 or maybe even 3 backs, one of which he was targeting at Vanderbilt. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens there. I trust, obviously, his ability to develop running backs. It was a big loss when we lost to Shard Choice. In my opinion, Key, Choice, and Thacker were the only ones that were really talking sense the 3.25 years that Collins was on staff. Tashard was probably the hardest on kids. He's like, hey, if you play, and this is the important thing, if you play running back, you better learn how to block, and you're going to have to learn how to block kids that are bigger than you, right? You're going to get a big linebacker coming in on a blitz, or you're going to have a lineman slide pick up, a blitzing backer, and then maybe release a defensive end that you need to pick up. These are not easy things that are a requirement to be a running back in a successful offense. And it seems like McKenzie, has a good understanding of that and how to develop backs that can do that. So, and I've said before, like, I don't really care where someone's from, like, as long as you are able to do your job, be successful, win football games. I don't care if you're from Alaska, the moon, South Pole, wherever. The nice thing, though, about him being from Georgia, and even the west side of Atlanta, there's been some big talent that's come out of like the Powder Springs, Douglasville area in the state, is I would think he has, some deep-rooted ties with high school coaches at some of these schools that have a lot of talent that comes out of them. And that, we've talked about this in previous videos. Can Tech really start developing relationships with some of these premier high school? Can we get a good foot in the door with the Bufords of the world? With those Gwinnett schools, with the Atlanta schools that are just down the road. We've already seemed to kind of start pulling a lot of kids out of Westlake. Look for Leo Blackburn this year, and I'm assuming he stays. I haven't heard anything on him hitting the portal yet. Now, we did have a running back hit the portal today in McDuffie. I assume he doesn't have to sit out a year either, being that Collins was let go. So he's transferring out. But we're starting to have, a kind of a crowded running back room with, especially with Smith saying he's going to stay for one more year. That's huge. Dante Smith is an excellent running back that has been a victim of playing in a bad system with bad coaching. Very fast and another very technically sound guy. He knows when to cut up the field, and he knows when to get the edge. So I would look for him to have a big year. It would be great to see what McKenzie can do with him and his development, putting him in situations to be successful. Now, McKenzie also has experience being a run game coordinator, so I don't know if he will also hold that position at Tech as run game coordinator. So now we're only looking, I think, to hire a wide receivers coach and possibly a tight ends coach, depending on what position Buster Faulkner coaches. I want to revisit that a little bit too. So I'm not an expert in contracts or when coaches leave a school and go to another. And I don't know what the agreement with Brent Key, Georgia Tech, and Georgia is as far as hiring Buster Faulkner. I'm just going by what this AJC article said. Maybe they're trying to create something from nothing. I don't know. My thing is I always think in terms of business. That's the world I'm in. Why would I do something that is no advantage to me? And really, there's only disadvantage. Like, he would, I guess, be helping Georgia after this early signing period ends. But it's still time that he could be dedicating to recruiting and working for Georgia Tech football. I don't know why you would want him coaching for Georgia. So if that was the agreement, we had to bring him over, fine. Nothing wrong with that either. I did have a gentleman, and I know that he's a Georgia grad. I can tell because he has trouble putting together complete thoughts. And I don't actually know if he's ever had one. He just said, "You don't know, do you?" Sir, sentences like that, I don't know what you're talking about. I know that you're so narcissistic and self-centered that you think everyone has the same limited knowledge you do of the world, but please expand. I've commented asking you what you're talking about. So I don't know what else I can expect from some, and it's not all Georgia fans. It's not all Georgia fans. Just the few that say dumb things in my comments section. What else do we need to talk about? Oh, yeah. Live show coming up tomorrow. You're not going to miss that. It's going to be on Cdogg's channel. And yeah, look for the video quality to get better. Working on it. Like and subscribe if you haven't, because it helps me out. All right. And I know you guys care about me in Rec Talk. But comment, what do you think about the hire? What do you think about the staff that Key is assembling? Is he going in the right direction? Is he selling himself short? Is this Buster Faulkner Georgia thing just a bunch of smoke that we don't really need to focus on? What do you think about the portal, the recruiting, all of that? I want to hear what you have to say. And if you have any suggestions for the show, you can join the Discord. You can comment on the video. You can email us. Let us know what you think. Talk to you guys later. Go Jackets.